my analytics and I realized that most of 80% of my viewers and subscribers are from 25 to 34 years old. So I was like, dang, that means that most of my viewers and subscribers are either just about to go into their Saturn return, or they're currently going through their Saturn return, or they just wrapped up a Saturn return. So I'm like, dang, okay, let me talk about my Saturn return story. Now, for those who don't know, what is the Saturn return? The Saturn return is a time of test, challenges, and maturity. Saturn return is a time when Saturn returns back to the place it was when you were born, representing a time of test, challenges, and maturity. It happens from 28 to 30 and again from 58 to 60, so every 30 years. Most people don't live 90 years, so the first two Saturn returns are very significant. The first one is from 28 to 30 and the second one is from 58 to 60. You will be tested and challenged in areas of your life depending on the house position and sign your natal Saturn is in, and you will experience some limitations and frustrations. Saturn has to do with tests, challenges. The house position and sign that it's in matters because it tells you the type of tests and challenges that you will face, and it tells you what areas of your life you will experience limitations and frustrations in. Saturn return is a time when you finally reap the fruits of your labor and make big adult decisions to secure your foundation as an adult. Like for example, you finally buy a house and or get married. Saturn return is a time where you reap the fruits of your labor. All of your hard work has paid off. You're making big adult decisions. You're securing your foundation. This is what Saturn represents, securing your foundation, hard work finally paying off. Most people, they buy a house and get married during their Saturn return. Saturn return is a time when you mature and you finally grow up through challenges. It's that age from 28 to 30. You're going to finally grow up and you're going to finally mature through challenges. Saturn return can either be a positive experience or a terrible one. It depends on the decisions that you've made in your life thus far. So your Saturn return can either be a great experience, a terrible one, or a little bit of both. It really depends on how you respond to challenges that come into your life. And it really depends on the decisions that you've made before you got to your Saturn return. So like, for example, from your early 20s all the way up to 28 to 30, you're going to be tested as far as the decisions that you've made to lead up to that point. You're going to have to finally deal with the consequences of decisions that you've made to finally lead up to that point. So it's really all about the decisions that you make. How do you respond to the tests and challenges that come your way? Do you finally mature or do you continue to be immature? It really just depends on how you live your life and the decisions that you make. My Saturn return story, value system challenged. My Saturn return started early and has been consistent from 26 to 29, which is now, but I mainly felt it from 28 to 29, and I'm still currently going through it. I turned 29 on August 4th, 2020. See, now I don't feel the effects as much. I feel like I mainly felt it from my 28th birthday to my 29th birthday. Now it's pretty much smooth sailing, but definitely from 28 to 29, I felt it. That was my Saturn return for sure. My official Saturn return will be at transit Saturn at 2 degrees Aquarius. Because my Saturn is so weak at 2 degrees Aquarius, I feel the effects of natal and transit Saturn in Capricorn too. So I have a very weak Saturn. My natal Saturn is at 2 degrees Aquarius. So I feel the effects of natal and transit Saturn Capricorn a lot more than I would natal Saturn in Aquarius. Transit Saturn in Capricorn moved into my second house when I first started to feel the effects of my Saturn return. Okay, so I have natal Saturn in Capricorn in my second house and Saturn in Aquarius in my second house. So I really feel the effects of both. But when Saturn in Capricorn went into my second house, that's when I started to really feel the effects of my Saturn return. Second house represents our value system and the money that we make on our own and our values. Those two matters were tested heavily and challenged in my life during that time. Okay, so I went through heavy tests that had to do with my value system and money. I pretty much lost a lot of money, my cash flow, second house matters. And I went through a very painful long-term breakup, which heavily challenged my value system. Okay, so the second house has to do with cash flow and money. I lost a lot of money during that time. The second house has to do with value system. And during that time, I went through a very painful long-term relationship breakup. What did I learn from my Saturn return after having my value system challenged? Capricorn in second house. Cash is king. Stay away from debt. Always live below your means. These three were the most important ones that I learned. Cash is king. Stay away from debt and always live below your means. Because if not, if you don't understand that cash is king, stay away from debt, always live below your means, you can end up bringing struggles and pains and hardships into your life, because Capricorn has to do with discipline. And if you don't discipline yourself, pain, struggles, and hardships will follow. The second house has to do with money and value system. Pay off your debt so you don't have any and you can be financially free. That's very important, because if you accumulate too much debt, what happens is that leads to struggles and hardships, which is a Capricorn related matter. It's going to affect your second house, which is your value system and self-esteem. You got to make sure your money situation is right, and you understand that cash is king, and you pay off debt. Get rid of your debt. Use the money that you make to get rid of your debt so you don't have any and you can be financially free. Never let anyone break down your self esteem. The second house, again, has to do with self esteem and values. Never let anyone break down your self esteem. Your self esteem has to be solid. How a person feels about you or how a person treats you should not shake your value system and your foundation. You should still feel good about yourself, and your self esteem is solid. Somebody rejecting you or treating you any kind of way, it won't make you feel less of yourself. Work hard, be patient, discipline yourself. These are Capricorn related lessons. You have to work hard in life, be patient, and discipline yourself, because if not, then you bring struggles and hardships and pain and frustrations and limitations into your life. The Saturn return is all about maturing in the way that you're supposed to, and passing the tests and challenges that come your way and overcoming them and learning from them. That's what the Saturn return is all about. It's about maturing in the way that you're supposed to, the very specific way that you're supposed to, passing tests, passing challenges, overcoming them, and learning from them. That's what it's about. It's not about crying about what happens to you. It's about passing these tests, overcoming them, learning from them. It's about appreciating struggle, pain, and hardship, because they make you strong and you learn from the experience. You cannot be strong in this life without going through struggle, pain, and hardship. Anybody who's strong went through struggle, pain, and hardship. You learn from it, and that makes you tough. That makes you solid. And that's pretty much it. That's everything you need to know as far as my Saturn return story. Thank you for taking the time out to watch my video. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Take care.